Hello everyone, my name is What's and today I want to talk about how to become a better aimer. And specifically, I want to talk about crosshair placement. Crosshair placement literally just means how you place your crosshair when you play the game, where you decide to place it, at what time, etc., etc. Now, a lot of players get this misconception that good aiming comes from wild flick shots and reaction shots. So, if you're like looking here, you just have like this crazy flick shot, and a lot of players have this misconception that that's where, a lot of like sick gamers come from, like Shoxy and Get Right. And while people at a higher level can have crazy flick shots, most of your aim actually comes from fundamentals, which is crosshair placement, how you place your crosshair. Now, just to get this out of the way, your crosshair should always be head level to where the opponent might be. So for example, if you're counter terrorist and you're pushing up long, your crosshair should already be where the enemy's heads will pop up. So if you're this close, then you're rounding this door corner because this is where the enemy will pop up. And if you're terrorist, you want to make sure your crosshair is head level to this door, and then whenever you peek, you want to make sure it's always head level. Now, why is this? Well, it's because you want an instant headshot, and you also want the least amount of adjustment possible to get that headshot. So, if your crosshair's here and someone pushes out the door, then you have to do a little flick, and it's going to be less accurate than if you were already looking and you just shoot. There's no way that flicking any distance is going to be more accurate than not flicking at all, just standing still and just clicking mouse 1. So the whole point of crosshair placement is to have the least amount of adjustment, mouse adjustment as possible, because that makes you the most accurate. Now there's two types of crosshair placement. One is like rounding the corner. So let's say you don't know exactly where the enemy is going to be. So when you here, let me give you a better example. Like if you're going up cat, you don't know where the enemy is going to be. You want to round the corner with your crosshair stuck to the corner. Because if you're already pre-aimed at this corner when you don't know where they are and they decide to peek you, you're gonna have to do a little flick, which is you're gonna have to make a little adjustment. But if this guy peeking you, he's already um, glued to this corner and he peeks you, he's obviously gonna have the advantage because he's not gonna have to flick as hard as you. So on top of that, he has peeker's advantage, which I'm going to talk about in a later video. So if you're coming around cat and you don't know where they might be, you want to make sure you round the corner. So this concept goes for literally anywhere across the map. So again, like CT, if you don't know exactly where they are, you want to make sure your crosshair is close to the wall that the corner that you're going to be peeking. Now the second type of crosshair placement is pre-aiming at angles and corners that you already know exists. So for example, let's say you spawned as a terrorist. If you spawn as a terrorist, there's no way that the counter-terrorists can make this door. So by the time, if you have the spawn, by the time you peek here, they're going to be around. They're going to be about peeking here as well, or maybe crossing into pit. So if you have the spawn, you don't have to like have proper crosshair placement right now, but if you know the angle, then you could just come out already pre-aimed that angle. So my crosshair placement isn't like rounding this corner here because I know I have like a particular spawn or I have particular information of where they're gonna be. Then I'm just pre-aimed at the corner so I could come out and swing and go ahead and get that kill. So this is extremely important both as a terrorist and a counter-terrorist. So another example is if I know I got a call out from pit, right? Then I'm just gonna swing out with my crosshair already like this. So I'm not, I'm not too worried. So it's already pre-aimed, so all I have to do is press left mouse, and if they come out, I do a little bit of an adjustment. So again, this concept literally works anywhere. So if you're checking angles on cat, you know, you could do a little bit of pre-firing on Goose, but basically my crosshair is at head level. Same thing. same thing. And you guys get the idea. So crosshair placement is I would honestly say crosshair placement is about 90% of your aiming. Flicking and reaction time, I'll come to that later, but this is the absolute fundamental and basics of Counter-Strike. If you get that instant headshot, you're most likely gonna win that duel. And then if you have great crosshair placement, you're probably going to win the subsequent duels. So if you want to become a better aimer and if you want to be more consistent, make sure you guys work on your crosshair placement in the two ways that I talked about.